Aloha, my name is Robert, and welcome back to the Neb Hapakahana Online Professional Development for the Canoe project. Today we'll be talking about Module 6 of 15. To begin, let's go back to our website, www.stemd2.com. That's www.stemd2.com. After you've logged in, let's go ahead and go to Students, and then let's build a canoe. Now we're going to go down to Unit 2, because Module 6 is in Unit 2 of the Go Math book. Let's go down to Module 6. Here are the list of activities for Module 6, which is about functions. The first activity we'll be looking at is Canoe 6.1.1. This is the first activity that corresponds with Lesson 6.1 in the Go Math book. In this activity, we will be looking at a canoe factory called Haleba'a Ainokea. The owner of the factory does not care what canoe you want. Instead, you will tell him what the size of your canoe team is, and he will assign you a canoe. So if you are paddling by yourself, he will assign you the small canoe. If there are two people paddling, he will assign either a medium or a large canoe. And if there are three people paddling, he will assign either the large or the extra large canoe. The first thing that the students have to do is to copy this diagram and then draw the mapping from the team size to the canoe size. Then the students have to discuss whether this is a function. Later on, the medium and the extra large canoes are sold out. So the students will have to redraw the diagram without the medium and the extra large, and then redraw the mapping. And then they have to reanalyze if this is now a function. This activity emphasizes that functions can have two inputs that lead to the same output, but they cannot have one input leading to two different outputs. That's it for this activity. Please go ahead and pause the video and take some time to read and reflect on it. Welcome back. The next activity that we'll be looking at is Canoe 6.1.2. In this activity, we have three siblings, Leah, Makana, and Kokoa, walking through the forest and finding a huge pile of broken branches. They want to reuse these branches, but they first must dry them. So the three siblings collect the branches and collect some data on them. Here we have X representing the size of the tree branches, and Y representing the drying time. Here's the data for Leah, Makana, and Kokoa. What our students need to do is to take a look at the data and figure out whether or not they represent a function. They need to emphasize that we can have multiple inputs leading to the same output, but we cannot have one input leading to multiple outputs. That's it for this activity. Please go ahead and pause the video and read and reflect on it. Aloha, welcome back. The next activity that we'll be looking at is Canoe 6.3.1. In this activity, we have a rascal named Kalohe Boy. Kalohe Boy wants to be a navigator when he grows up. So right now he's being trained by a master navigator. The master wants to help him improve his sense of speed. So he tells Kalohe Boy, I want you to paddle away from the shore. Go 10 feet per hour. Kalohe Boy is kind of impatient, so he whines, What? That's so slow. But the master is unmoved. He tells Kalohe Boy, I'll check on you every hour. And if you're not where you're supposed to be, you're gonna get in trouble, boy. In this activity, we are given three equations that relate Y, the distance, with X, the time that Kalohe Boy has been paddling. And we want to figure out which of these equations, if any, fit the data from the table. Finally, we want to see that just because functions share ordered pairs, it does not necessarily mean that they are the same function. Please follow up on this activity with the next activity, Canoe 6.3.2. In this activity, we're still looking at Kalohe Boy and his master. but instead we're going to be looking at these graphs. And we want to figure out which of these graphs match the table up here. We will also try to draw two more functions that will keep Canoe out of trouble. So we need two more functions that match this table. That's it for this activity. Please go ahead and pause the video and take some time to review and reflect on it. Let us know how you might use this activity in your classroom. Welcome back. The next activity we'll be looking at is Canoe 6.4.1. In this activity, we'll be looking at three different graphs and try to make some sense of it. Here we have a graph of rain level versus time, algae population versus time, and fish population versus time. So we can see during a rainstorm, the rain level increases and then drops. Later on, the algae population increases and then drops. Notice that this is a slower increase and a slower drop. Finally, as the algae population increases, the fish population drops and then slowly recovers. In this activity, we will analyze these three graphs and then act like a scientist for today. So we will come up with a hypothesis to try to explain these three graphs. It actually turns out that after a rainstorm, a lot of pesticides and fertilizers gets washed into the ocean, and that causes an algae bloom. This huge burst of algae ends up disrupting the balance of the water, and that imbalance usually causes the fish population to die off. After the algae population returns to normal, the fish population also recovers. Of course, we don't expect the students to know this, but we do want them to try to come up with a hypothesis of their own. We recommend following up on this activity with the next activity, Canoe 6.4.2. In this activity, we ask the students to plot other things that might be affected by a rainstorm. So for example, how does your happiness change after a rainstorm? Next, what else changes after a rainstorm? Once again, an example can be found in the teacher's guide. So over here, we find that my happiness increases with the rainstorm and then slowly returns back to normal. I've also found that the stinkiness of my dog increases with the rainstorm and takes a much longer time to return to normal. Alright, that's it for Module 6. We'll see you again next time for Module 7.